I could see you be the next Wolverine girl.
You are blind.
Bub.
Shiitake mustard is delicious. Shiitake mustard is delicious.
There's a chip shop in space that says spaceship shaped chips.
Oh, that's very good.
Oh, thank you.
And that's very good.
very nice.
And it's very nice. Very, very good. It's so innovative, so imaginative. You have such a mind on your Dougal.
You've become your mother, and I know that. That's the funniest thing. Oh, dear. Welcome to the Ancient Robot Games podcast. As always, I am Dougal.
And I am Gelb.
And we are joined today by the ghost of UK Games Expo past. Apparently that's what ghosts sound like. Basically, we've come back from the UK Games Expo 2026, and it was a lot. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It was a lot.
It really? You found it boring?
No, I'm tuckered out.
Oh, got you. That makes
exhausted.
sense.
I'm exhausted.
You're just
Dougal,
out.
I am exhausted.
That's a really good. I'm pleased to hear. I'm pleased to hear in that accent. I kind of want you to keep that accent the whole episode, but I also know you would do it if I said.
It's completely easy for me to do.
I really don't want that. So let's move on.
You have not been careful for what you wish for at all.
This is, can I bring the genie back? No, I want a different one.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, cool.
We're fine.
We were at the UK Games Expo. From both sides of the UK Games Expo, I went and walked around and saw stuff and picked up games and chatted to people. You stayed in one place and were incredibly busy the whole time showing off your games and talked to people. And we had a long 3 days.
Yeah. So, I mean, and you started a day earlier than I did. And yes. I think, I don't know, I find it interesting. What actually is involved on Retailer Day? So Retailer Day is on the Thursday before it starts. What happens?
Oh, it's just mojitos. The whole thing. It's just mojitos from the start to the end of the... It is not. It is very specifically as well not a Retailer Day for the whole of UK Games Expo.
Yeah.
The Retailer Day is run by a company called Asmodee. They do one specifically. They have a large portion of the UK distribution market for board games and trading card games as well, TCGs. So they put an extra day for their retailers to show a bunch of new things that are coming out soon, that are coming out in a long time away, that are out right now, with a bunch of companies who are distributing through Asmodee as well. So it's not just Asmodee-based games, but a bunch of other companies too. So we usually have some talks and some in-depth industry stuff from Asmodee themselves to talk everything from facts and figures to how to categorize your games in your shop, or how at least they have ideas for it, as well as some more in-depth things by some of the internal companies like Gamegenic or Fantasy Flight. Interspersed throughout those talks, there is a large hall, exhibition hall, which is like a very, very small scale version of the UK Games Expo itself, with a lot of people, a lot of booths up, which are retail focused specifically, with talking about how to get your games into the shop, whether it's Osprey Games showing off their stuff, whether it is Inside Up, or some more local ones, as well as some of the bigger Asmodee runs and even kind of huge ones like Bandai showing off new Gundam games. So there's a lot going on in it, but you don't walk as far. You walk within one hall. You maybe walk as much going around everything, but you also get a chance to connect with other retailers, see how things are doing on every side of the industry from the back end of it at least.
And when you go into it, are you thinking... do you have a list of games that you are keen to see if they're available, or do you browse one of these? I guess it's similar to like the press preview, I guess, in terms of a smaller area. Do you go into that expecting that you are going to find games and you are going to buy games there or right then and there, versus walking around the main expo and seeing new games and getting them there?
No, for the most part, you don't buy games there.
You don't buy
at
games.
all. It's not
just about showing.
And really, because it's just about showing, it is trying to get you excited for the different things that are coming out. So it is not focused towards something that is just about to come out most of the time. A lot of it is focused towards some future stuff or some things that have done really well that maybe your shop doesn't have. So there's a lot of talking to people. There's a lot of kind of distribution chats. There's a lot of connecting with even the top people at Asmodee, which is really nice. So all of the people who are there as part of the higher part of Asmodee are available for you to talk to. So any problems you're having, having, any issues that you can bring up with them, it's a kind of good time for it without just sending an email through to your kind of handler, I guess.
Complaints Central.
Exactly. But there is actually quite a lot of complaints, which is quite difficult to deal with. As a retailer who doesn't have many complaints with these things, my complaints are very, very limited. I find it quite difficult to bring up in a situation like that. But a lot of other retailers are not the same. And it's a great place for them to vent, but it's also a good place to kind of talk to other people and see whether they're having the same problems you are. It's a really, really good place to find folk from other countries who are there showing off their game that will be in Asmodee in a few months' time or something like that, which is really useful because it gives you a kind of a step ahead of the industry as a whole, seeing where it's kind of at least going in the next few months and what things are focused on. But it also gives you that ability to, from me as a retailer, I have certain focuses and certain things that I like to work on, but I also want to know how the games work. So being able to be told it from the designers or from the publishers, even just of what they're interested in and what they're excited about and what they're kind of getting through in ease of distribution as well, because Asmodee is one of the bigger ones, so we know that those games are going to come through within a certain amount of time, is really, really helpful from a retailer aspect.
And when you're going around the main expo,
yes.
What's the difference in terms of how you walk around versus how you might have done before the shop?
Oh, that's a really interesting thing. So I think in lots of ways it's very similar because of the sort of person I am.
What tickles your fancy?
Well, I can't say that.
In terms of wandering around.
Oh, got you.
Yeah,
I was taking that literally.
No, it's okay. I saw where you were going.
Just for everyone listening.
We headed it off at the pass.
We
got you back on track.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, my fancy's not to be tickled. Thank you very much. The sort of person I am is someone who is always interested in new and unique stuff. So there's still that mentality that comes with it. It's a little bit different when I come to UK Games Expo because there's things that I might want for myself, but there's things that I want for the shop. And I think being able to talk to the people who are doing it and come into it and go, hey, I'm a retailer. How does wholesale work with you? How would I be able to get a lot of your games in so that a lot of people can buy it? Usually there's a slightly different mentality that comes to it. No longer are they going one-on-one with one person who might buy something. They're going one-on-one with one person who might buy 6 of them, but also not pay you as much money for it. And that's a really difficult thing, I think, from their side of things. For me, it's a little bit easier because people can just say no, and it's great. But I want to have those connections so that I can talk to someone and then email them in the future and go, hey, we've run out of so-and-so. Can I get some more? Or I heard this game of yours was coming out in a few months. I'm really interested in it. Would you still be? And I've already got that kind of avenue in. So it's a slightly different thing. Whereas when I was there as just a regular person, that makes it sound like retailers are something special that we really aren't. But when I was there just to buy games, the contact was purely to get the games or be interested in what was there and find out a bit more about it and maybe say hi to them. Now I'm trying a bit more to make connections and have those people so that I can actually talk to them. It means when their new thing is going to come out in a year that is not this game that they're showing off now, but something else, then I might be able to talk to them first about it and maybe get it in the shop as it's coming out, which for me is the most exciting thing. I am still someone focused on what the industry is doing. But I always was as a just regular consumer as well. So I want to see what the industry is doing, but I also want to find that thing. It's always the new thing for me. It's always a unique thing that nobody else is doing. And I think games have got better and better with that over time. And now it makes it harder and harder to make those choices. But I think it's really interesting to kind of judge that. I only have a certain amount of space in the shop. So I'm actually trying to find the right things that are for the shop and the right things that are maybe for me personally with that uniqueness that comes with it. And now not being able to go around the expo yourself, that must be quite a difficult thing. Or it would be a difficult thing for me, at least. I did find it when I was showing stuff off at conventions. It's really hard because then I got 15 minutes of a break where I run around to try and see as many things as possible and pick something up quickly. Did you find that you got a chance to go and see anything, or is it very much like, no, I'm in this place doing this thing? Obviously, it's your game that you're wanting to go off, so you have to be the forefront of all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I last year I got to see a bit more than I did this year. This year I felt like a bit of a headless chicken whenever I was off of the stand. I did go around to have some meetings with different manufacturers and different booths. There were a few folks who came by to show off some things that I wanted to go and see. There was a really interesting company developing it's technically paper, or it's technically a form of paper that is clear, that is not made of any plastic. So the way that it is wrapped on, if you imagine like crepe paper, but it's see-through, but it is transparent. It's not brown or anything like that. And so they had a really interesting product that they left me. So I wanted to go and see them and check that out. Had a few had quotes in from different manufacturers, so wanted to talk to them. So on the way, got to see things briefly, but not in any kind of way that would have been actually fun to sit down and or have any time to kind of explore in that way. On the flip side, though, like I wouldn't call myself an extrovert. So these types of experiences are quite draining, but in the moment, there's quite a buzz you get from someone being interested in something that you're doing. So like I didn't feel like I was missing out on a huge amount. It was more like, did I forget to take a break, or did I forget to eat lunch, or did I forget to, do something that I probably should have, like, go to the bathroom. Apologies, UK Games Expo. There are several puddles there. It wasn't me. But aside from that, like I didn't get to see a huge amount, but also, it wasn't hugely disappointing just because I got excitement elsewhere.
Sure, and it's not your first time at all, right?
Yeah.
So I guess with it being a few times in, what do you feel like was better this time for you, or what did you learn from doing it? What would you tell other people who are wanting to go to the UK Games Expo to show off their first game?
I think expectations. What are your expectations that you're kind of setting? Are you thinking you're walking in and then you're going to sell 1 million copies? It's probably not going to happen. But I think like going in with clear goals about what amazing would be for you, I think is helpful, because I have met some people who it looks like they had a great time, but they're disappointed because they didn't really know what they were expecting. So in their head, it was always going to be better than whatever they experienced. And so that's, I guess, the base thing. I do think that thinking about your stand design does matter. The pickleball game this is the second year that it's been out, and it's a game that we know people will, if they watch other people playing it, that results in people just buying it without trying it themselves, if they see people enjoying it. But it's quite important for them to see people enjoying it. Now, we had it the first time. This time, multiple people came up, looked at the demo, asked a couple questions, said, "That's funny, I'll buy it." But most of the time, it is a group of people playing, people wander up, and then they bought off the back of that. So we reoriented our stand so that was in the corner, so that people could see it from multiple vantage points. So there are things like that I think folks think will matter, and then they think that maybe it won't matter. At a place like UK Games Expo, there was 51,000 unique people. So you will get people walking by your booth. And so trying things out that way is definitely worth it. And the final thing, I don't know if other people don't like it when I do this, but like talk to people. Yeah. Like I say hello and good morning and all that kind of stuff when people are walking by. We walked around to someone who they were sitting, on their phone, kind of despondent looking behind a wall of product. And then you ask them how the things are going. They're like, I'm not selling very much. You're like, well, I mean, people don't know that you're there.
Yeah.
So I think if you're going to do something like this, especially if you don't consider yourself an extrovert, I would think about it as a compartmentalized opportunity for you to make friends very quickly. And yes, be overwhelmed, be frazzled, but at the end of the day, try and enjoy it. It's the whole simple thing is, have you thought about relaxing? But like also, you can mentally prepare for something like this in a way that's positive or not. And as someone who does struggle with that sometimes, I think UK Games is different to all the other cons because of the sheer number of people and the sheer number of people who are literally there to find, play, and buy. Other cons, maybe they have one of those and there's not that many people. Whereas UKGE is relatively cost effective to start off with. Like the cheap stands at UKGE are pretty reasonable. The folks who run UKGE they could easily charge a heck of a lot more. They could charge for things like parking.
Don't let them know. Just don't tell them.
But like it really does feel a lot more like they're not trying to just extract every bit from you. And I really appreciate that. And if you combine that with the just massive amounts of people that come through, it really is a good opportunity. I think it is certainly it's the best convention that we go to from a efficiency standpoint.
Yeah.
Obviously Tabletop Scotland is the best, but yeah, I don't know if any of that made sense.
No, it definitely does. It's an interesting thing because I definitely walked around and seen people like not things I might have been semi-interested in what they were doing, but there was no way to kind of engage with someone. And I've seen people being very engaging. I think different customers definitely deal with stuff in different ways. Yeah. There's something quite salesperson-y maybe, or like almost like cold calling someone on your doors going, hey, could I interest you in this? Yep. That can feel a little bit awkward to say no to and walk away from. But you are stuck in a stand. They are the people walking around. They can always turn and walk away. They might feel a bit uncomfortable about it if you do say hi, but you will have the opposite side of people who are like maybe uncertain. And then you go, hey, how are you doing? And they will suddenly be like, oh, great. Well, let's look at this thing that they're doing.
So the way I do it, and I don't know if this is good or not.
Flash everyone.
I've tried to calibrate. That's
okay,
secret sauce. That's secret sauce. But the way I do it, and maybe this is calibrated to assumptions that I make about folks in the UK versus elsewhere, is I like to be out there to say hello, right? But then not follow it up with a quick sales pitch. Hello, are you having a great day? That's it. And then physically retreat, physically step back. And I find that sometimes people like say, oh, hello. And then they pause and they're like waiting for a sales pitch. Don't give them one. And then they wander up and say, okay, well, tell me about this thing. So you have to find what's comfortable for you. But like, I do think, part of the reason why someone's walking around an expo hall is there should be an expectation that someone wants to convince you to have a look at something. Sure. So I don't think people should feel smarmy by saying, hey, would you like to come and have a look at this? Mm-hmm. At the same time, if someone's like, no, I don't, then the salesperson should not feel it at all.
Yeah, that's
on the flip side, right? So it's like, I know, like with Aster, for example, pickleball is a very specific type of game, or it's a relatively broad, but Aster is an abstract strategy game and sci-fi. Those are two Venn diagrams that will turn off lots of people. And so it's very much let someone wander up and ask about it, much more so than, let's say, pickleball is. And so that's what we did. We set up our demos on high tables, and then people walked up and they played with the pieces. And then I asked if they wanted to hear about it. But yeah, some of this stuff, like we've done it 3 years and it's changed every single time. So yeah.
It's really just trying stuff. It's important to kind of get out there. There is a small section. I think it's getting bigger, but it's still a section of people who are coming to the UK Games Expo, not to necessarily buy stuff, like they will be buying lots of things, not to necessarily play stuff, but they will be playing lots of things, but to actually be in a space where they can meet the people who are doing the thing. Yeah. It's different than going to a board game shop and picking up a game that someone out there has made, but you're picking it up from your local board game shop. It's different than buying it online. You're buying the game because you want the game. This is a chance to meet the people who are involved in the game, and people do get a lot out of that. I do personally too.
Frankly, I'm still perennially surprised that anyone likes my games. But every single convention that I've been to recently has had someone come in with a copy that they bought previously and asking me to sign it. Like, that's really cool. Or like this time someone came up and talked about how they got like 5 copies and they ran a big tournament of Hot Shot Pickleball at a game con that they ran. And like, I didn't know that. That's awesome. Or people come up and they say, I remember seeing this game 3 years ago when all your standees were tiny and they were just and they remember stuff that I don't remember, or just someone just coming up and saying like, I play this game multiple times a week. I'm like, are you okay? That if you're doing that, but that stuff, you're right though. I think that's wild that it's wild that people are that interested, but it's also, it's lovely also from the other side as well, that someone just comes up and says, oh, I know that you exist. That's kind of cool.
Showing the growth of the industry massively. That everyone's involved in all of these bits now because you can be, which is really, really good. Well, I'm glad it went so well for you.
Yeah, it was pretty good. A little bit. The last thing I would just suggest for people who are thinking about going to something like UK Games is think about the experience that you want anybody who comes to your booth to feel. And you also want to try and think about how you can respect their time the most, So like, if you have a game and you have a little spiel about that game, practice the spiel, get it tight. You may or may not know this, but when I start talking, I rarely stop. So I was quite motivated to make sure that if you had a flight of fancy and wandered in, I would only keep you about a minute and a half before you then had the option of easily leaving or asking more questions. And I think that part of that, at least the hope is that part of that, then you earned a bit of time with someone by being efficient with your time with them. So that's the lesson.
I mean, I was really glad that you did let them go from the human-sized butterfly net, that you were capturing them in for that minute and 5 seconds.
People always escape.
They always escape.
You have to build that into
do
the
something
numbers.
about it. No, for sure. No, that's really great advice. I think for anyone who's involved in it, it is useful to have something looking very pretty and out there, but there's also there's hundreds of people doing the same thing.
Yeah,
so it's being accepting that people will come there, having some people not be there. There's, I think, ready for disappointment, but also accepting of success. I had a chat with the guys who make Why We Fight, which is a fantastic kind of semi-locally made tabletop RPG about sort of eco-survival, post-apocalyptic stuff where you're playing as a group at a time. Really, really great. They brought 50 copies of their game. They sold those 50 copies, I think, in the first day.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did you only bring 50 copies? And they're like, well, we just didn't think it was going to be that good. And it's a really difficult thing to go, well, you're sold out. I guess you can point people towards stuff. You can get them to sign up for things, but it's much less likely than just picking something up because they're there. So it's always a thing of be ready for disappointment, but also kind of semi-plan for success as much as you can, because there is nothing more disappointing than bringing 200 copies of a game and only selling 10. But there's also a very disappointing thing of going, well, we could have sold 200 copies of the game when we didn't.
Yeah. And there's always a balance with that. The first year, like I think we brought 57 copies of Pickleball and we sold out. And then this year we brought 70 and we pretty much sold out. There was a retailer that took the rest of it at the end. I think we had 7 copies left. So like that was kind of pushing it. That was feeling okay. But interestingly, I'm part of this indie game designers Discord, and people were posting their percentages of sales on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And most people actually were selling a bit more on Friday. Then Saturday was either a little bit more or a little bit less, and then Sunday was much less. And for us, it was like Friday was okay, Saturday was a bit bigger, and Sunday was actually the biggest. So people came back. And they were like, oh, I've been thinking about this, right? But at the beginning of Sunday, I was a bit bummed. I was a little bit bummed, even though that wasn't the point. It's the second year the games come out. But like, I was just looking at this tower of games that we had. And then it was lovely by mid-afternoon when that tower was dwindling and there were only like 10 or so left. But, the disappointment is always present because you're putting yourself out there or you feel like you're putting yourself out there. And then anybody who doesn't buy your game is just rejecting you, right? So don't anticipate failure, but also be okay with the fact that this is a learning experience anyway, and it's not the end of the world.
Unless you're not selling stuff, in which case getting lots of people to play stuff and sign up, demo, sign up for the thing.
Yeah.
There's a big thing for having a lot of preamble for the game that you're releasing.
So speaking of the games, we've spoken about the expo. What about the games? Like, what are some of the goodies that you picked up or that you saw?
It's really hard to say because there's so many things. Right? There's thousands of games. I walked 30 something miles during the 3-4 days that I was there. Pretty good. It was a lot. It was a marathon and a half, roughly, that I ended up walking. So I'm very tired. But also, it's hard to keep all of those things that you see in your head. Yeah. I have a problem. I'm a completionist. I need to see everything. So I saw everything. Yeah. It took me a long time. It took me, all
30 miles.
The days, basically 30 miles to see everything and go back to certain things as well, to talk to things. So there was a lot that I was seeing from a retailer perspective, but seeing as many things as possible, trying to talk to as many people as possible, there are some standouts that I will miss. There were some things that I saw that I think are amazing that I will have forgotten about when we're talking about it now, and I will remember in 6 months and go, why didn't I talk about that? It was really cool. There's a whole bunch. There's a little game called Desperate Camels. It's not out yet. It's going to be so exciting. It's really cool. But the things that I remember are the things that are sitting directly in front of us right now. So that is very useful that I brought some of those back. So the thing I like most is finding weird, independently, tiny made things that are not known by anyone. And there's one person, two people on a stand going, I don't know what I'm doing. And those are the best things because they are someone trying something different. And I really, really enjoy that. So standouts for that were Wraithborn. Wraithborn's a kind of Morkborg side of things, TTRPG. Absolutely beautiful, really nice guy as well who's running it. When we go into the weird independent side of stuff, On Anne is something else. I actually cannot find this on the internet because you cannot search for On Anne and find anything. But this is a
by On
really...
Anne, it's ONAN. That's
it.
the name of the game.
That's the name of the game, On Anne. This is the weirdest thing ever. You have 3 heads, which are double-sided heads, a bit like a Janus sort of thing, but as a full 3D head. They have 3 heads. You kind of place them on the table or roll them around. You roll a big dice or a big cube at least, which will tell you what is gained by the person who has or the most or of their heads closest to the thing. And then you'll be playing cards out like curses to mess with stuff. You will be playing knows. Essentially, everyone has a know which knows someone else's curses. It's genuinely super weird and super crazy. And I saw it and went, that's nuts. It's 2-player only, but it was really, really interesting. The guys who were making it were lovely and they were trying something different. And I think that's the bit that gets me is people trying something different. Talk about things that are the same, just to flip things. Le Chocolat from Allplay. Allplay are making fantastic games at the moment and making lots of them. Le Chocolat is a game that I think I talked about a long time ago called Chocolate Favorers, which is a Japanese-made game that I thought would never come to the UK. This is it in a tiny box.
You brought it back.
Delightful.
You brought it, didn't you? You brought it back from your trip to Japan.
I did, from Japan.
And it looked different.
Different box, different things.
Yeah.
Same pieces, same scoring cards, just with slightly different iconography. Delightful. The one thing that is not the same in it is it doesn't have the same rulebook start. The rulebook start for Chocolate Favors was something very similar to You're My Friend, but I love chocolate more. And I think that's just a delightful way to go. We need to split this chocolate and I need to have the best bits. This doesn't have that in the start of the rulebook, but it is brilliant and I really enjoyed it. Talking of other games, Shakespeare the card game will be in lots of places soon, which I'm really pleased by. It's actually, or what once was a local designer who has fled to the other side of the country. Sean Holt from Allies and Enemies.
Sean, come back.
Sean, we need you. Shakespeare is a fantastic 2-player game, kind of a bit set collection, a bit organization over different kind of countries that are there that you're placing down cards into. It's just fun. It's one of those games you play and you're like, this is just good. And I like the competitive nature of it. You're never out, it feels, because different cards can come out at different times, but playing the right thing at the right time and taking over the right regions or not taking over regions and winning by having pairs of lovers together or various other things just works really, really well. Big fan of Sean's work. Last Week of Summer is still fantastic. Bunch of kind of 80s themed mini games is a cheap way of describing it because it's much more than that, but it's truly great. Really, really big fan of what Sean is doing. I'm very excited for his next game that is a tile laying cemetery game that is actually really, really cool. I loved playing that and playtesting that about 6 months ago. So Shakespeare card game will be in lots of places soon. Really excited for it and a great 2-player game. Going outside the 2-player sphere, the remaster of Not Alone. Some of you listening may know Not Alone. I think it was about 10-ish years ago that it was out. It stopped being printed. And it's a big shame. And then recently it's been picked up again, thankfully. And now it's been printed with a couple of extra changes, a few extra cards, but basically a similar game. It's a 1 versus many game, which means it plays 2 to 7 players. And it's a great game at 7, where one person is a big sort of, I don't really know how to describe it, space deity, I guess. It's some big monster out in space. And they are going to be choosing a location to go to each turn. Everyone else will be choosing 2 cards from their list of location cards, of which there's only 1 of each. And they will be placing them face down in front of them, which are in turn spots that they will be going to. Now, they are numbered like 1 to 8, I'm going to say, but they will go to that location and they will do an action that's attached to that location, which are different things that will help you get ahead. But if this space monster alien thing lands on the same place, not only do you not do your action, but they get to move up their track. So it's a really nice, cleanly competitive game without without a whole bunch of preamble of how to learn. I think it's very accessible with what it's doing, but it has this wonderful back and forth with trying to deduce what the other player is going to do while still trying to have successful actions for yourself. So truly, truly great. A couple of the true standouts from my gameplay were the Inside Up triptych of games is what I've been calling them. They're called Tales from the Twisted Realms. Inside Up, Conor McGuey makes and publishes fantastic games. They have Earth and Earth Abundance, the recent expansion for it, which is just really good. They've been doing Gorus Maximus. They've done Summit as well, which is a fantastic mountain climbing game. But these three games are, one, beautiful. They had fancy Kickstarter versions of these, so I had to get those. We have Thieves of Eldris, which is a 1 to 6 player game, which kind of has that chaos of 1 to 6 players, but based upon a whole bunch of cards in the grid and stealing stuff of other people and various bits and pieces, which is just great. They have Tug of Roar, which is a 2 player game, which is really, really nice to have this almost Shot and Totten-esque side of taking over different areas by playing down different cards. Really clever because there's lots of different abilities and stuff that's happening in it. And then we have probably one of my games of the expo, which is Crits and Tricks. Crits and Tricks is fantastic. This was a highlight of playing it without knowing a huge amount about it, but just trying to learn it through the rulebook. Oh, it's clever. It's so clever. You have a essentially D&D set of dice. So you've got the 6 dice instead of a poly 7 set. 2 of those are D10s. So it's just the 6 dice you have for that. You will roll those dice. They will sit behind your screen so nobody knows what those dice are. And then you'll be using cards, which are suits. And now these suits are barbarian or druid or wizard or things like that. And you'll be using 4 suits out of the 7 that are in the box. What you'll do is you'll shuffle those suits out, you'll pass them to each player, and then you will play what's called a regular trick-taking game, which is someone plays a card of a suit. If you have that suit, you have to follow on. But the suits and the cards don't have any numbers attached to them. In fact, every time you play a card in front of you, you also have to take one of your dice that you've rolled at the start of the round from behind your screen and then place it onto the card itself, basically creating a value between 1 and 20, but you have all of these different dice and you can only use them once each. So you have to choose the right times to do these things. The other wrinkle that comes with this is whatever card leads that trick is, depending on what suit it is, also depends on how the trick is won. If you play a barbarian, for example, as the lead and people follow with barbarians, well, that means the highest number is going to win the trick. However, if you play a wizard, the number closest to 5 is going to win that trick. Druid, the second highest number, will win that trick. So playing out these dice becomes a really engaging thing every time you're doing some sort of decision. The other thing with this is you've got 8 cards, you're only going to be playing 6 rounds, which means 2 of your cards you can use for crits, which essentially is an extra ability that's at the bottom of that card. Barbarians, for example, you can plus or minus 1 to 3 from the dice you place down. So you can change up what that value is. You can get other people to re-roll the dice that they played, and you are not just trying to win tricks. Instead, you have quests that you draft at the start. So you see 4, you pass 3 round, and you keep 1, and you will all be drafting those. So you see a majority of them. You kind of know what other people might be going for, but they know what you're going for too. Some of them might be things like you need to win the final trick of the round, and they're all worth different amounts for those as well. Whether you want to play risky or whether you want to play safe as much as possible is just genuinely clever. It's a game that's engaging on every moment, and that's why I think I was really focused on it. Reminds me a lot of a truly elegant trick-taking game called Nikosu Dice, which is one from Japan, which I never got to bring back from Japan because it was sold out there, but is coming to the UK market, which I think is also fantastic, which I did get to pick up a copy of there as well, which is really cool. I guess the final one to mention, I mean, there's so many more to mention. There's so many more games to mention, but the final one that we've got in front of us here, those of you listening will not be able to see how beautiful this game is. This is a wonderful game by Hisashi Hayashi, which is called Circadia. Circadia is a very clever game with 3 different suits of cards. One, it's very ecologically friendly because it's all in cardboard boxes. Even the cards themselves are wrapped in cardboard and not in plastic when you open the box. And it feels very naturey with what you're doing. It has the 3 classic suits of cards, which is axolotl, bear with wings, and regular goose. Cloud goose, technically, but regular goose. What you'll be doing on your turn is usually playing down cards. Now, you have 3 spaces spaces in front of you, basically, to play down sets of cards. And these cards, when you play them, can either be the same number as one you played previously or higher numbers. So you're building these in sets of things, basically trying to have some low numbers so you can put slightly higher ones on top. When you place down a card, though, for example, say I placed a couple of 2s down, which could be of different suits on different things, well, then I would take 2 cards from the market of 5 cards. If you play down a 5, you take all of those cards and they're constantly replaced. But these are used so that when you have a set of cards, say you had 6 cards of bears in front of you, you can sacrifice those 6 cards to take one of the point scoring cards for the games, which is set up in 3 different slots for the 3 different types of suits that are there. Sounds very confusing, but it's actually very straightforward because you're just trying to get lots of cards of a type. They just have to be in ascending order, and then you're discarding those to get some points cards. But the points cards themselves are either night cards or day cards. They're the same things. You've got to discard a certain amount of cards for them to get a certain amount of points, but you have to buy them or have them in front of you in the order of night, day, or day, night. So it means that as soon as you get that first points card, your focus is narrowed down to only what things are left on the thing. And depending on what other people buy or take out from the points cards might change up what that is for you and might actually restrict you, or you can restrict someone else in choosing to pick up these cards. It's one of these delightful ones. It feels in the similar way of like Courtesans, of being easy enough to understand once it's in front of you, but genuinely there is so much strategy and so many ways to make it work and kind of push with things. Truly a great game. Really, really, really enjoyed it. And so many more. There's so many more I could mention, but my brain is leaking out of my ears after still trying to recover from it and seeing all of these things.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's happened. You should have done that with the puddles onto your convention just so they never noticed. So, as everyone knows who's listening to this, we have our weekly segment, our wonderful weekly segment, which is the good, the bad, and the games. Did I say that last time? No, great.
That's a new one.
Good, the bad, and the games. This is our segment where we talk about what games we've been playing. Now, we both come back from the UK Games Expo, so we've been playing I've been playing a lot of games. You've probably been very tired. Have you been playing any games this week?
No, I haven't. Played a game on the drive back, which was, I think its original name is No More Women, but that's a very silly name. And it's a car game where you have to say a person that fulfills a certain criteria and then say no more of that. So if I were to start, I might say Barack Obama, no more US presidents. And then you'd have to come up with someone else and you'd say no more of whatever. And then if I wasn't sure whether or not you knew another one, you'd have to know another one. So if I said prove it, then you'd have to name another one. So
I have to name another US president.
No. So if I said Barack Obama, I said no more US presidents, and you didn't know if I knew any other US presidents, you might say, tell me another one.
Prove that you know. You could just do that forever.
You can, but then the first one might be, no more women, or no one who's alive, no fictional characters. So it starts to get. You have to.
You can't repeat, so you can't repeat, and narrows down categories.
And you have to. It has to fulfill all of the categories before it.
God.
So you're building up on this. So anyway,
It's a much better car games. When I only remember car game.
Yeah.
I remember the only ones I really remember is the ones that I grew up with, which I don't know whether this is telling from my upbringing, but the only one that we had was Yellow Car, which was. Someone sees a yellow car, they say yellow car, and they punch you.
Yeah, we had we had punch buggy, where if you saw a beetle, you'd punch buggy.
Much punching, much punching in cars.
Yeah.
People should stop punching in cars.
This one was introduced, I believe, by Blair Cowan, Judson's lovely wife, on our car ride back. So yeah, thank you, Blair.
Thank you, Blair, for not punching Gelb.
Kept us awake.
Kept them awake.
Kept us awake. Yeah.
Unpunched.
Exactly. I got to the final 2. I'll have to.
Congratulations.
It was very good. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the best I can do, I'm afraid.
That's a game. It's a game. It counts. I think it's in our weekly segment. It's a game now. That's how it works.
The weekly segment that everybody knows that was called...
The Good, the Bad, and the Games. As we know, every time it's called the same thing. Everyone knows this. Also, it's not weekly because this doesn't come out weekly. But... There you go.
It's weekly. We just don't record it weekly.
Oh, that's
we have
true.
this we sit here in this room. We have a podcast. It's never recorded.
It's never recorded. Also, we just don't do it strongly.
Exactly.
That's the other thing. It's
we do it strongly, but still every week.
Frail. Yeah. That's great. I played a very interesting game called Batam, which is wonderful. It's from this company who does L-fold games, which is such a weird thing, but it's basically a box. Oh, I've got one somewhere.
The shape of an L.
A box that the top demagnetizes off and then wraps around the box and comes off it. And then it folds out into a board. It basically means you can have a really tiny box, which becomes a big board to play.
Yeah,
they make great games. I've been playing Zombie Chess from them, which is really just very, very clever 2-player game. I played Pueblo, which is also really, really nice. But the one that I played was Batam, and Batam is really nice. It's very clever. You have a bunch of islands. You need to drop your cargoes off on 4 out of the 5 islands that are there by moving across different places. But you got a little board. Batam, nice. You've got a little board with 3 spaces on it, which are for dice. But before you roll any dice and place them on any things, I'm going to keep doing this. We're going to both keep doing this. You actually put money on the first 2, your captain and your sailor or sub-captain, however you want to call it. You'll put money on those, and that's because when you roll your dice on your turn, you actually have to place your dice on other people's boards, and it goes from your captain has the highest numbers, and then it goes down. So you're basically putting money on your little spaces, going, this is how much I will pay you if you put a nice high numbered dice on my board. And then you place them all on other people's boards, and they will do the same to you, and any higher numbers push other dice further down, so they won't get as much money because you get to push it down. But they've given you all these high numbers, and those numbers are how far your ship can move around the board. So you have a little bit of auctioning side of stuff, essentially, going, go on, you want to take this money. Whoever has the most money at the end wins. The other clever thing is, when you land on an island, you get 25 money. You drop your cargo off. But if someone else lands on the island where you have a cube, they will get 25 money, but they also have to pay you 5. So when multiple people have cubes on it, you might get 25 money, but you're giving 3 other people 15 money. So you're only really making 10, and they're making 5 off everything. So getting there first is important, but also choosing how much you're going to put money on. They're also going to get that money for placing their dice in the thing. So yeah, you might want the high dice, but do you really want to give them 10 coins? Like, it's just genuinely really, really interesting and a lot of fun. And also anything in that like small box works really well. That. Rose King, really, really great for doing that. The other one was called, oh my goodness, there's too many, and they're all really good. Oh, Sardinia, also a great game. This company is bringing stuff over there. They're usually Japanese, Chinese, or Korean made games, and they're a really, really great company that I just want to support more and more. So played those. That was great. But I played too many things. I collapsed every evening, incredibly sore in my legs, incredibly sore in my throat after talking, incredibly sore in my head after trying to keep it all in there. So I'm glad that some of it at least has leaked out in this podcast.
A slurp away.
If you got any problems, you got any queries, if we didn't talk about your favorite game and you want us to, if you are having a date and you need help as to what to play on that date and where to play,
I am totally up for that.
Gelb is up for that. But if you already have someone else planned to go on the date with, please let us know your questions, queries, anything else you want to say at ancientrobotpod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to the Ancient Robot Games podcast. As always, I have been Dougal.
And I am Gelb.
And this has been recorded and edited by Ryan Scott. If you liked this, or didn't...
Even if you didn't,
please let us know in the comments or via email or Pigeon, if you've got Pigeon.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like us, drop us a line. And if you don't, do this really, really cool thing where you press follow or like. It actually works against us. So we'll still get the message.
Thank you very much for coming and listening with us. And we'll hear you next time.